The new policy here in New York City of sending cyclists with traffic violations to criminal court, it's got a lot of people asking, what is the difference? Why should it matter if your traffic violation goes to criminal court versus traffic court? And why is there certain types of traffic conduct that's criminal and others it's just a traffic violation? Well, it's a long story, but to summarize, we decriminalized most harmful conduct done behind the wheel of a motor vehicle back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Before then, it was considered criminal to hurt people with your car. People would face criminal penalties all the time for what we call accidents or crashes. But, they reached the point where I guess our society just said, well, accidents are going to happen. And, we don't have enough bandwidth in the criminal courts to treat all these with the severity as if they were criminal violations. And we don't really see them as criminal violations. We just see them as the inevitable result of private motoring. Some people are going to pay the price by losing a limb or a life, family member, but that's just sort of the deal, right? That's the thinking that went into decriminalizing traffic violence. So now we've got a situation where most driver violations, even if they cause tremendous harm or even death, are not going to send that driver to criminal court or even to traffic court. They may not even get a traffic violation, even if they were at fault under the rules that apply to drivers. But with this new policy, a month old here in New York City, get tough on cyclists and their bad traffic misconduct, now the cyclists are being sent to criminal court. And, there are serious consequences to it being heard in criminal court. One of them is that you have to go. You can't pay online. It's not a simple expedited process. And if you do plead guilty, you've got a criminal conviction, which can have very severe consequences if you're a non-citizen. Most people are given the opportunity to plead down when they appear on their bicycle traffic ticket in criminal court. But the downward plea many times involves something called an ACD, adjournment and contemplation of dismissal, that requires the cyclist to basically, keep their nose clean, stay far away from the criminal justice system for a period of up to 6 months. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. But what if staying clear of the criminal justice system means don't get another red light ticket? Especially given that the police don't know that cyclists are allowed to go through red lights when there's a white walk signal and have been able to do so for 5 years here in New York City. They're handing out these red light tickets to cyclists who are engaged in perfectly lawful conduct, sending them to criminal court. At the criminal court, the cyclist is told, well, stay clear of, law enforcement for 6 months and it'll go away. What if they go through another white walk signal with a red circular vehicular signal and they get another one of these red light tickets? Do we want to just find out? It makes absolutely no sense to apply this heightened penalty to cyclists for their traffic violations. There are other ways to get cyclists to follow the laws than basically punishing them arbitrarily and subjecting them to dire consequences if they're non-citizens, or even if they are citizens, forcing them to take a half day off from work and go into court in order to resolve their traffic violation. Why should we be treated so much more harshly than anyone else for our traffic violations? Some may say that cyclists are always breaking all the laws, but that's just the windshield perspective on things. Because motorists are breaking the laws too, all the time. They break the 25 mile per hour speed limit in New York City all the time. The speed cameras don't even issue tickets unless you're going at least 9+ miles per hour over the 25 mile limit. And when a police officer actually investigates even a fatal crash, I've had this happen, where the driver was going less than 10 miles above the speed limit, the police will not issue a speed ticket, even when plainly shown on video that the person was speeding at least 5 miles an hour, but under 10 over the speed limit when they killed someone. Because, as the cop told me, well, if it had been a machine, they wouldn't have gotten a ticket. So how can I write them a ticket? I mean, that's the way We bend over backwards to forgive the driving misconduct of so many drivers, but now we're sending cyclists who often are engaged in perfectly lawful conduct that the police don't even know is lawful to criminal court to face all sorts of unknown consequences. It's a bad policy that has to stop.